Okay, so on your warm-up, you're due now. All right, on this 45, 45, 90, if the leg is 5, how long is the hypotenuse? It's 5 squared to 2. Okay? If the hypotenuse is 14, how long is the short leg? Or how long is, the legs here? Okay, so you divide it by the square root of 2, right? And then once you get rid of that, that's going to give you 7 square roots of 2. All right, because then if you think about it going back the other direction up to here, 7 square root of 2 times square root of 2 gives you 7 square root of 4, and that'd be 7 times 2, which gives you 14. And then on number 3, if the legs are 11 square roots of 2, how long is the hypotenuse going to be? 22, because it's going to be 11 square root of 2 times the square root of 2, which is 11 square root of 4, which is 11 times 2, which is 22. Okay, now on the back of your warm-up, we're going to draw 2 triangles here. So that's why you have this, and if you have a pencil to use here, it would be better so you can erase once you do this. Okay, so this line right here is going to be one side of the triangle, this triangle we're going to draw. So what I'm going to do is at the end of this line down over here by the 45 is I'm just going to put a little dot to just give me something to kind of reference a little bit better to key off of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my protractor on this line and on that dot right there. So just like that. So I'm lined up on this point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here to 45 and I'm going to put a mark out here at 45. Okay, so with it lined up, I'm going out here to 45, putting a mark out there at 45. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the straight edge of this protractor. And I'm going to draw a line from this point to that mark I just made. Something like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the other end of this line. I'm going to put a point at the other end of the line down there. I'm going to line up on that point on the left-hand side there. We'll put a mark up here straight up at 90. Well, this angle will be 90 degrees right here. So now I'm lined up here on the other end of this line. Put a mark straight up at 90 up there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the line from here to here and connect that to make my triangle. Like that. And I'm going to erase the rest of this off here. Okay, now if I drew this right, okay, I made this angle 45, this angle is 90. How big would this angle up here be? Should be what?
45.
Yep, should be 45 degrees, right? It's like what we've been talking about for the last couple days. So, if this is a 45, 45, 90, what do I know about these two sides right here? They're the same. So if this side is x, then this side is x. And then how long would the hypotenuse of this triangle be? X square roots of 2. X square roots of 2. All right, so again, that's what we've been talking about for the last couple of days. So we're going to draw another triangle here, and this is going to be what we're going to talk about today, start talking about today. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one, except obviously instead of this being a 45, I'm going to make this a 30-degree angle right here. So I'm going to put a point right at the end just to make it easier for me to see where to line up on. Get lined up on that, and I'm going to go out here to the 30. And put a mark out there at 30. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my straight edge again, draw a line from that point to that mark. Something like that. And then same thing on this other side. Put a point right there. Go straight up to 90. And look like that. Okay, now on this one again, if we drew it right, this angle should be 30, this angle should be 90. How big would this angle up here be? Should be 60 degrees, right? From to add up to 180, that should be 60 degrees. Now, over here on 45, 45, 90, these are the ones we've been talking about for the last couple days. What do I know about these two legs on the 45, 45, 90? They're the same. You think that's going to be true on a 30, 60, 90? No, and you're right, it's not, okay? Now, again, the two sides that touch the 90-degree angle we call legs, okay? So both of these over here, legs, they're the same length. Here, they're not going to be the same length. And so what we're going to do is we're going to end up calling this the short leg, and this is the long leg. All right, and then obviously this side out here is the hypotenuse. So on a 30, 60, 90, we're going to have a short leg, a long leg, and the hypotenuse. Now, on a 45, 45, 90, it's got relationships on here that are always true for a 45, 45, 90. These two sides are always the same, and the hypotenuse is the leg times the square root of 2. 30, 60, 90 has some special relationships also, and that's what we're gonna see with the Pythagorean theorem to start off with, and then we'll just talk about those rules and then just apply those rules. All right, so let's go ahead and flip over to here. Okay, so on number 1, I'm looking for this side right here. Now, as we think about that with the Pythagorean theorem, is that side the A, B, or C side? It's the A or B, it's not the C, right? Remember, as long as we get the C right, we're good. Which one is the C? The 12. Okay, so here's how I'm going to do that, is I'm going to go 6 squared plus x squared equals 12 squared. I finally got me an Apple Pencil ordered, so hopefully it'll be in here Friday where I can start using this again. All right. My other one completely just died. It's like trash. It's like trash. Okay, so 6 squared is what? is 36. So 36 plus x squared equals, what's 12 squared? Is 144. All right, then we're going to subtract 36 from both sides. So x squared equals
108.
108. Take the square root of both sides. Okay, now again here, I don't want the decimal on that. I want to simplify. And we're actually not going to work out number 2, so you can do this underneath there if you want. Okay, how does 108 break down? Yep, 12 times 9, which 12 is 4 times 3. 9 is 3 times 3. And then one more step, 2, 2, 3, 3, and 3. Now, just to save space and so I don't have to write, I'm just gonna circle my pairs right here and just do it like that. Okay, so I have a pair of 2s, a pair of 3s, so that's going to be a 2 and a 3 on the outside. So what's that going to be on the outside? A 6, and what does that leave on the inside? 3. So this equals 6 square roots of 3. Okay, so that's what it is. We'll come back to that in a second. I want to do another problem so we can see what the pattern is here. So on number 3, same thing. I'm looking for the same side right here. So that's the A or B side, however you want to think about it. So I'm going to go 4 squared plus x squared equals 8 squared. So 16 plus x squared equals 64. Subtract 16 from both sides. That zeroes out. X squared equals 48. Take the square root of both sides. Okay. How does 48 break down? 12 and 4, 6 and 8. A lot of different ways. I don't know. We'll go 6 and 8. So 2, 3. 2, 4, 2, 3, 2, and then 2, 2. So, I mean, I'm not going to move this, but you got a pair of 2s, you got another pair of 2s. So it's a 2 and a 2 that go to the outside. 4, and then what's left on the inside? Is a 3. So this equals 4 square roots of 3. Okay, so let's talk about what pattern is going on here. All right. So here we have 6 square roots of 3. Here we have 4 square roots of 3. So what do you notice that's common between those two things right there?
The longest leg.
The square root of 3. Yep. What else do you notice?
It's the same number on the outside.
Okay, good. It's the same number on the outside as right there. See how on the short leg it's 6? Here it's a 6, but with the square root of 3. Same thing over here. There's a 4 here, there's a 4 here, but with the square root of 3. And we could work out 100 of these, and it's going to work out the same way, okay? So the long leg is always the short leg times the square root of 3. Okay, now there's one other relationship that I want you to see, and let's see that by doing number 5. So on number 5, looking for that side right there. So that side, is that the A, B, or C side? That's the C. Okay, so it's going to look like this. 7 squared plus 7 square roots of 3 squared equals x squared. Okay, so A is just 7. B is 7 square roots of 3. That's why I put that in parentheses, because B, that's the whole thing, 7 squared roots of 3. It's the whole thing is squared. So what is 7 squared? It's 49. Now type that in your calculator just like that. In parentheses, put 7 square roots of 3, and on the outside of that, put squared. Tell me what that is. Is what?
147.
Is 147 equals x squared. And then 49 plus 147 is 196. Now, 196 is actually a perfect square, so we don't have to do all that other like factor tree stuff. Just type in square root of 196 and you'll see it just gives you a whole number. It's what?
14.
It's 14, so this equals 14.
So you could just.
Yes, say it again. Good, exactly. So you can see right here that this is just the short leg times 2, which if you notice up here, same thing, okay? The hypotenuse is the short leg times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. We didn't work this one out, but obviously it's true. 12 times 2 is 24. 4 times 2 is 8. It's always going to work like that on the 30, 60, 90. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip it over to the back and let's just list those rules out. Talk about what's going on. Okay, so let's say we know this side right here, and we're looking for this side right here. It's what? It's times 2. Just double. And if I know that side and I'm looking for this side right here, what do I do?
Square root.
Okay, times the square root of 3. And remember, this right here is the short leg, this is the long leg, and this is the hypotenuse. This is the short leg, this is the long leg right here, and you got your hypotenuse. So over here, let's just think about if we go the opposite direction. So let's say I know the hypotenuse and I want to go back to the short leg. What do I do? Divide by 2. And if I know the long leg and I'm looking for the short leg, what do I do? Divide by the square root of 3. It's just the opposite of what's listed on the first one here. This is just the opposite of what we did here. Let's see. If you multiply by the square root of 2, if you multiply by 2 going this way, you're going to divide by 2 going this way. If you multiply by the square root of 3 going this way, you're going to divide by the square root of 3 going this way. Okay, so let's just apply these rules. So on number 1, the short leg is 8. How long is the hypotenuse? 16. How long is the long leg?
8 square roots of 3.
8 square roots of 3. Right from here to here, it's just times 2. And from here to here, it's just times square root of 3. Okay, on number 2, how long is the hypotenuse is 240. How long is the short leg?
120.
It's half of that, 120. And then how long is the long leg?
120 square roots of 3.
120 square roots of 3. All right. Number 3. So this one I know this 8 square roots of 3. So I know this. What do I do when I go back here? Divide by the square root of 3. And if I divide 8 square roots of 3 by the square root of 3, what's going to happen to those square roots of 3? They're going to cancel out, right? So if it's like 8 square roots of 3 divided by the square root of 3, those cancel and it just leaves 8. And that makes the hypotenuse what?
16.
16. And if you notice, actually, number 1 and number 3 are the exact same thing. Okay, number 4. Short leg is 14. How long is the hypotenuse?
28.
28. How long is the long leg?
14 square roots of 3.
14 square roots of 3. Number 5, the hypotenuse is 36. How long is the short leg? 18. How long is the long leg? 18 square roots of 3. Okay, number 6, the hypotenuse is 100. How long is the short leg?
50.
It's half of that, 50. And then the long leg,
50 square roots of 3.
50 square roots of 3. Okay, number 7, the long leg is 99 square roots of 3. How long is the short leg?
198.
Okay, that one's 99 because we divide by the square root of 3 going from here to here. And if you divide by the square root of 3, it just cancels those square root of 3s off, cancels them to 1. And then from here to here, it's just double. So 99 times 2 is what?
198.
There's that 198. Okay, number 8. So the short leg here is 5 square roots of 3. And to get up to the hypotenuse, we multiply by 2. So it's 5 square roots of 3 times 2. Now here's the question. Do I multiply the 2 to the 5 or to the 3? It gets multiplied to the 5. We talked about this several weeks ago. Remember, you multiply outside numbers together, you multiply inside numbers together, you don't mix those up. So the 2 is an outside number. It's going to get multiplied to the 5, not to the 3 because the 3 is an inside number. So this gives you just 10 square roots of 3. And now going from here down to here, we multiply by the square root of 3. So 5 square root of 3 times the square root of 3. Okay, now this 3 right here, do I multiply this 3 to the 5 or do I multiply it to the 3? To the 3 because both of those are inside numbers. Okay, so I'm going to have 5 on the outside, nothing's changing that. And then on the inside, 3 times 3 is what? 9. And then what's the square root of 9?
3.
Is 3, and then 5 times 3
50.
is 15. Okay, on number 9, the hypotenuse is 18 square roots of 3. So 18 square roots of 3 divided by 2. Okay, so does the 2 divide into the 18 or does it divide into the 3?
18.
18 because both of those are outside numbers. So what is that going to give me?
9 square roots of 3.
9 square roots of 3 right there. And then it's going to be 9 square roots of 3 times the square root of 3 for down here. So what's that going to give me? 9 square roots of 9, which is 9 times 3, which is 27.